big debuts, ultimate betrayals, and well, gladly not a big serious injury. But we're going to review Sacrifice right here on the Hit in the Turnbuckle podcast. TNA delivers once again when it comes to pay-per-views. And not only that, they have signed one of the hottest free agents to a contract. And let's get into that right now because it was bang bang. Ricky Sosa has signed with TNA Wrestling. They made the announcement last night at Sacrifice. Chris Bay, Tommy Dreamer, Carlos Silva, all there in attendance to tell us all about that signing. That is a major signing for TNA. One that realistically, I was hoping it was going to happen when we spoke to Eddie Edwards. You can see that in the playlist below. He was very complimentary of him. The reaction from the crowd tells you how big of an acquisition that is for TNA Wrestling. It is an exciting, exciting acquisition. Matches you can just imagine now. Leon, there's just Eddie. There's just so many great matches you could put this kid in, and it's a statement of intent from TNA Wrestling with Ricky Sosa because I'm telling you, when I say he's one of the hottest free agents in wrestling, he absolutely is. Congratulations to Ricky. Congratulations to TNA as well for making it possible to them to acquire one of the most exciting wrestlers in the free agent market. Now, hopefully, unlike yesterday's TNA one, hopefully I will be a lot less coughing and spluttering. I'm feeling okay. Not brilliant by all means, but not bad either. Right. Let's just quickly roll up the roll up. Let's just quickly roll through the countdown to Sacrifice. Ryan Nemeth beat BDE in the one, which was a bit of a surprise to me. BDE's not really been on a great win ratio since coming into TNA, and Ryan winning this one for me. I'm not sure that was the right decision. He won it, he held the tight, so there's an element of he had to cheat to win. But I was a little bit peeved by it, to be honest. BD is really exciting. Yes, he's learning. I get that. There's going to be probably be plenty more opportunities. But I say this a lot on the other shows I do. If you keep eating defeats, your stock drops. And for me right now, BDE's stock is very low. Now, it can all change next week on Impact, of course, and he could pick up a victory and we can be off to the races. But yeah, I was a bit skeptical about that decision to have Ryan MF go over in it. Run of the mill stuff. Some good spots in the match, of course, from BDE. I'm just a bit peeved that he hasn't picked up a victory. I thought Ryan Nemeth was an ideal opponent for him to actually get a victory against to kickstart him off. So the fact that he didn't get it, albeit by cheating, still annoyed me a little bit. But Ryan Nemeth picks up the victory there. Tessa Blanchard and Jodie Fret was next. Obviously, on the outside of the ring, you had Victoria Crawford and Myla Moore, Harley Hudson and Myla Grace. And, Tessa, in my opinion, should be going for the Knockouts Championship. She should be in that conversation. And she isn't right now. Whatever reasons, TNA are not putting her in that level of competition just yet. Obviously, Jodie Fret's not long had a Knockouts Championship opportunity. It was another quick match. And again, much like the first one, there was an element of cheating involved in it. I think it was a shoe to Fret that allowed Tessa Blanchard to hit the buzzsaw DDT and pick up the victory. And at the end of that match, it was more about, Fret was getting choked with some cables. I do think it's time now to move Tessa Blanchard forward to, bigger and better things. They've done very well. She's done a lot with Myla and Victoria Crawford, but we all know where she should be. And there's only so much you could keep her down. She is still probably, if not the best woman on the roster, at least in the top three. So I think it's time that TNA straps that rocket and pushes Tessa Blanchard forward. She does, of course, pick up the victory in this one. The show started. Eric Young and Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. Leon Slater outsmarts Eric Young at the very start of this by having somebody dress up as him, as Eric Young attacked him, thinking it was Eric Young, but thinking it was Slater. But it was not Leon Slater, which is, you know, thankfully for Leon. But this was good. I like this. This was a nice long match. Is Eric Young the right person to put in the ring with Leon? I don't know, but it still had some great moves in this, as you can imagine, with Leon Slater involved. Of course, it did. There was a couple of other times during this where I thought Eric Young was going to go over that, because TNA have a habit of sometimes changing things up with out of the blue. And you would have thought that perhaps you would have predicted it in some cases. I think we had on the prediction someone put Eric Young to win this match. But they didn't. He didn't, sorry. It was a great opener, really wasn't. It was like I said, I wasn't sure if Eric Young was the right person to put in with Leon, and I was proved wrong, and I'm happy to be proved wrong. It was a great match. It went sort of 15 minutes or so in the ring, but it was great for these two. But it was the Styles clash into the Swanton 450. I'm gutted, by the way, that we won't get a Leon Slater AJ Styles match. I know that AJ come out and gave him a rub last year, but I was always hoping that we'd get to the opportunity of having them two in the ring, but we didn't. And there we go. But Leon retains. He does have a match against Cedric Alexander this week on Impact to navigate for that championship. So will Cedric Alexander pick up the first bit of silverware or goldware for the new system? We'll see. One man gang in attendance, guys. Yes. Excuse me, one man gang in attendance at Sacrifice with this last night. Enjoyed that. It was nice to see the one man gang. No. Um, but back to action, and it was the hometown man, and of course in his hometown, and Elijah against Frankie Kazarian, and of course AJ Francis. I wax lyrical about AJ Francis. You can see interviews with Kaz and AJ Francis in the playlist below, and the hometown man for that matter. Just need Elijah, Simon. Anyway, perfectly fine tag match. This it was nice. It was about the right time, sort of just over 10 minutes for this match. Got given a decent amount, considering the four people in the ring. There's been obviously, a little bit of thing with our hometown man AJ Francis. Elijah and Kaz have only just really started something here. Because obviously Elijah's been focusing more on Ali and all the four. So it's not been such a bad thing to have them break away off into new things. I did like the fact that AJ Francis wasn't he sort of bullying self in this one. It was a nice way to sort of. I like that they mixed a good pair of feuds or sort of newish feuds together in this as well. So TNA done a good job there, and it was the fade to black on the hometown man by Kaz that picks up the victory for Kazarian and AJ Francis. So I think I don't know where they go from here, where Kaz goes. I know, there's obviously there could be a world championship opportunity and such. What I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see on that one, I think. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that where they go from here. I'd like to think that AJ Francis will be maybe the international championship in that opportunity. With Trey Miguel as international champion, could happen. Kaz has always been in and around the main event, so we'll see what happens going forward on this one. Now, Myla Moore again followed the White Rabbit this on and Havoc of all people returned to pop up, and there's a bit of a screaming thing going on, and once again to be continued on that front. So interesting to see where that one goes. Now, Knockouts Championship match, and in my honest opinion, TNA got this one 1,000,000% wrong. It was Ariana Grace, it was Lei Ying Lee, and it was Danny Luna. Um, I think everyone really thought it was Luna's time, and it should have been Danny Luna's time. Just under 15 minutes. Match was perfectly fine. Some really good action in this as well. But in my opinion, Danny Luna not winning the Knockouts Championship on this occasion is criminal. Now she did. Now what happened was in this Warriors Way connected from Lei Ying Lee. Stacks broke it up, breaks up the pinfall, and then Ariana Grace pinned it. Even the worst thing about it was Danny Luna ended up getting pinned as well in this match, and I can't fathom why TNA haven't decided to pull the trigger on Danny Luna. She's having the run of her life. Um, Listen, it's not the, I suppose it's just not the most terrible thing. I mean, again, it was a case of Lei Ying Lee had the match won. It took Stacks to do it. But I just think um, it was time. It was time, and that's the thing I feels most annoying about it is we had it there for the taking in a lot of ways, and the fact that we didn't get Danny Luna winning this match, in my opinion, is a travesty, and I think that everything was pointing in that direction. That would have been the right call, but we didn't get it, and it's a little bit disappointing. Anyway, I move on. Ali got Myra Sade to follow the White Rabbit this time, uh, which was interesting. Um, she and Rosemary appeared with Myra Sade at the same time, and they were talking, and they'll have a talk after Sade's match, which was interesting. So I don't know where they're going with this. There's lots of good bits going on with that, and I'm very intrigued. Excuse me, by the way that's going. So hopefully more this week on Impact, which of course AMC, AMC Plus in the States, Sports Center 360 in Canada, and of course TNA Plus over here in the UK. Get it downloaded, get subscribed. $9.99 a month gives you a lot. Give you the Impact, give you Rebellion, April the 11th. That's coming up very, very soon. You'll get that. We'll also give you the big pay-per-views, Bound for Glory, Slammiversary, and access to the archives. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and more. On to the next match. The match that cost me the clean sweep in the predictions. Order 4 versus Trey Miguel and Jada Stone. This was a real coming out match for Jada Stone. She really, really impressed on this. And I think now TNA got a problem because, and it's a good problem to have. Jada Stone has really risen and maybe faster than expected up that ladder of the knockouts division. Again, a good 15-minute contest. There's plenty of moves back and forth. Trey Miguel, obviously international champion for now. For me, this was all about Jada Stone. And the great thing is now is, as I said, TNA are going to have to find out where to put her on this knockouts division because she's outshone everybody recently. And to be honest, it really surprised me how quickly that she's come to this and has really started to impress everybody because she really, really has. And it was an incredible showing. I mean, she had a great showing in Impact as well. And that's why I had her and Trey Miguel to win. But the 450 from Ali wins it. Now, if I'm right, and I saw this right earlier on, Ali has got a shot at the International Championship this Thursday on TNA on Impact. Tell you what, that could be an interesting Impact. Ali could be international champion after Impact this week. Don't see how he loses it, to be honest with you. Um, Now, what I forgot to mention was that Order 4 and the system had decided to coexist. Order 4 and the system, for Christ's sake. Um, for the match, well, not just for this match, because it's Moose and Eddie Edwards. However, it lasted about 30 seconds because Agent Zero come down and attacked Moose, causing the DQ, to be quite honest with you. And this was the thing that was really kind of set up at the meeting earlier on in the show in the evening. So really, Moose and Agent Zero are on a collision course, which I'm going to be really looking forward to seeing. I can't wait for that personally. I think that's going to be an excellent match. Between the two big guys, and they're more than just big guys, especially Moose. So that's going to be interesting. But Moose picks up the win via DQ on this, and it really wasn't too much to say on it other than that, to be quite honest. Right, no disqualifications. Mara Slade, Elena Black. It's a shame this only went 10 minutes. This was great. I enjoyed this. There was bedazzled bat. There was tax in this involved as well. Um, I really enjoyed it. I thought this was going to be. I didn't know what to. I thought Elena Black was going to win this, to be honest, and I'm wrong because Myra Slade wins it. Um, she puts Elena Black onto the tax for the victory, which I thought was pretty cool. Um, I enjoyed it, but I just feel like Elena Black, where she now, because in terms of knockouts championship, and there is only obviously one women's championship, the tags as well, the Elegance brand, which we'll get to. I always thought Elena Black would be inserted right near that champion, right near the knockout championship, and appears I'm wrong. And I don't know. I just felt a bit more would have been done with her. She was quite, that's a big acquisition for TNA, Elena Black, and I was a bit surprised. Um, so she got sent into the tax. It was a moonsault from Mara Slade that picks up the victory, and yeah, I'm interested. Interested to see what happens next with with both of those two. Right. The system. We're in tag team action. It's Brian Myers, Cedric Alexander against Vincent and Jeff Hardy. Now, we all know that Matt Hardy got taken out um, on Impact this week. And this was more about what happened after. Now, obviously, the system have been trying to get the Hardys. They've been after the Hardys for a while. The Righteous have been kind of portraying as the Hardys' friends. Now, again, you can see the interview with the Righteous on our TNA exclusive playlist below. And I've always questioned the motives of the Righteous, and when we had them on, they were a little bit coy about their motives with the Hardy Boys. It didn't take too long, though, for us to realize where we were. Jeff Hardy has this match won. He hits the Swanton Bomb. As he does that, on the screen appears a bloodied Matt Hardy. And standing next to that bloody Matt Hardy was Dutch. Vincent looking at Jeff Hardy and smiling. And then he gets hit with the roster cut and a lumbar check. And the system pick up the victory. And yeah, that's very, very, very. Been waiting for it. Been waiting for it. It's taken a long while, but it's finally happened. Uh, the Righteous are finally showing their true colors, and now the Hardys have got a big problem. The system or the tag team championships, I believe the tag. Oh, I don't know if the tag team championships are on the line this week. Thought I read someone that there was. I'll have to double check that. About the Righteous as well, and it's going to be interesting. Now, Vincent and Dutch have finally proven to everybody what we already thought was right. And now we get to see him with their attack on the Hardys. We'll find out what happens next time. The Elegance brand were out next, minus Ash. She's still recovering after being called a mark. Mr. Elegance was there. They basically told ODB never to show up again. ODB showed up. She did. But she wasn't alone. Taryn Terrell, who I haven't seen in a good while, she showed up with ODB. She's obviously New Orleans' own, so that got a good reaction. And as Mr. Elegance threatens to beat him up, hardcore country hits, and Mickey James comes back as well. She called him a pickle dick. Wow. Anyway, there was a brawl. Mr. Elegance gets beaten up, but there has been a match made for Rebellion, and it is the Elegance brand against ODB, Taryn Terrell, and Mickey James. That is happening. Rebellion, April the 11th. Very, very quick turnaround here. 2 week turnaround for TNA, which is going to be great. So we get to see that, and I'm liking that. I'm really liking that. It's going to be an interesting one in a couple of weeks' time. But main event time on TNA, and this is where things take a serious turn. Santana, Macklin, we know there was a lot of history there. There's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of lots of seriousness about it. And we didn't really get to see enough of it, unfortunately, because of everything that happened. So basically, what happened was the match about 6 minutes in, there's a thrust kick to Santana, the thrust kick by Santana to Macklin, and it catches him flush in the head. And you have to praise the referee, and I think it's Alice or Alicia, the referee in this. She spots it right away and is already throwing up the X. The doctors come and check on Macklin. He is in no fit state to continue the match, and the match is called off. But you have to really give that referee a lot of credit in there for noticing the problem and getting it actioned straight away to make sure to protect the safety of the wrestlers inside that ring. Because that is a referee's job. It's not just to count the one, two, three. And she done a brilliant job in making sure that that match didn't go on any longer and that Macklin got the treatment he needed. Now, the good news since then is that Carlos Silva has come out and basically said that he's not concussed. There's no concussion. He was evaluated. He's absolutely fine, and he was returned to his hotel that evening. So whether or not he'll be there at the Impact tapings tonight, I don't know. But the good news is Steve Macklin is fine, and that, to be quite honest, is probably because of the referee and the job that she done, making sure Macklin was tended to straight away, and the match was called off when it was. But that was TNA Sacrifice, everybody. Great way to round off your weekend. Like I said, quick turnaround for TNA Rebellion in 2 weeks' time. Impact's being taped tonight. Next couple of impacts are going into Rebellion, being taped tonight over in NOLA. Of course, TNA available, AMC Plus in the States, Sports Center 360 in Canada, and of course TNA Plus over here in the UK. Get it downloaded, get it subscribed, and you can be watching it for $9.99 a month. We'll be back, of course, with a roundup of everything that's going on in wrestling, and of course some interviews and everything else next week. But until then, everybody, cross the line, stay safe, and goodbye.